study in our university from outside. It's possible. It's possible to study and to combine this teaching, but I can't propose you statistical data how many students live in European countries, sometimes Canada, United States. Do you have such kind of students, of course? And they continue to study in university in some faculties. Sometimes they unite education in European university, in Ukrainian university, and really good news for us, but we try to find any chance to help them to continue their education in Ukraine. It's some statistic, just.
Allora, quelle cifre, you can read, so le cifre sulla lavagna forse sono abbastanza chiare.
Non è chiaro che il 75% dei donne sono andate
le donne, cioè, che vanno fuori dall'Ucraina in generale non è una questione abbastanza avanzata, 70% di loro hanno perciò è un tipo di brain drain. È un tipo di brain drain, cioè così anche i figli dei cervelloni li accompagnano, vanno sempre anche loro all'estero e loro cercano di tenere insieme ancora quelli, anche tanti studenti che sono andati via dall'Ucraina, di tenere connessioni con loro in qualche modo, cioè con online istruzione, roba del genere, però insomma è difficile, cioè tutto avrà degli effetti perché questi ragazzi probabilmente non torneranno in Ucraina.
My next. Wait, excuse me. Yes, Odessa Mechnikov National University. It's our some picture of our main building of our university. Our university was born 1865. Last year we have an anniversary of our university. You can compare the origin of Siena University and our university, but for the Ukrainian territory, it's not so young university. Yes, and Mechnikov. Ilya Mechnikov, the Nobel Prize winner, is the symbol of our university and our mem. Yes. Next, go. Some information from our site and from the report of our rector about some data and this. I would like to compare. How many students in Siena University now?
40,000 roughly.
40,000. Look, please compare. In this last year, academic year, it was presented by our rector. 14.
Yeah, I said that. Yes, I said that. 14,000. 14. Yes, I said that.
Yes.
14.
Dicevo 14. Non 14.
It's some fresh information from our rector before his election. I will mention about this. University, do you see 5,000 full-time students? I don't know how to translate заочники, да? I don't, you know. Yeah, because part-time, not part-time, correspondence, yes. And 1,000 correspondence students, and for a total 7,000 students. And academic staff, approximately 700 members. What is the good news in this? I compared the number of students with the previous year, and now maybe it's increasing in some, not little bit, but not decreasing. It's very good news for us. It's our hard work, reputation, and authority of Odessa University. Really, it's not natural things. It's really our attempt to be the leader of university education in south part of Ukraine and maybe in the Ukraine. No, you can see our faculty, but I don't know faculty. What is the by English? I didn't check translation good. How to your faculty? What is the English? It's okay. It's okay. Do you see biology and geology and geography? It's only some title of faculty. It's a result of some interesting process in our university, uniting of some small university and creation the large scale one university for the region. And before that, faculty of faculty of hydrometeorology and ecology. Before that, it was a separated ecological university. Just now, it's a part of our university. It's a new tendency because it's you understand. It's better to have one university, and maybe this number of faculties is dynamic. I know that, for example, my faculty of history and philosophy, just now became the number of students less than it's necessary. And I suppose next year we will be the part of the more broader of faculties. It's a dynamic system, but you can see what is the what our faculty, how many faculties, what is the title.
Allora, qualche riassunto. Queste sono alcune cifre sull'Università di Odessa. Abbiamo allora questi 5.400 studenti in presenza e 1.600 in come si dice? Online teaching. Studenti online, insomma, cioè, a distanza. Però tutto questo è un movimento, c'è un decrescimento anche degli studenti, questo però ultimamente si è invertita questo sviluppo, c'è una piccolissima crescita a livello dell'università, però non a livello della facoltà dove lei sta, cioè storia, filosofia. Lì c'è la decrescita, ora sono anche sotto il livello del numero necessario, minimo, e perciò devono probabilmente mettersi insieme con qualcos'altro. Cioè, anche questo quadro e movimento sembra a causa dei sviluppi generali dell'università.
And next slide maybe will be strange for you. The university in Odessa and the monument to Giordano Bruno in Rome. Yeah, but it's not occasionally. This slide devoted to maybe brief in explanation of our international activity from the beginning of the founding of our university. There's some orientation of our university became European. And what do you see here? It's a very interesting case. From the Odessa, it happened in 70s, but it's these tendencies continue. Odessa professors, above all the distinguished philosopher Nikolai Grot, who is logician, analytical philosopher in our modern explanation, and philosophers, professors of Odessa University, please take attention. What is the title of our university before revolution, before just now, before 1931, and before revolution, Imperial Novorossiysk University. True, dangerous word for our country now. Imperial and Novorossiysk, Novorossia. Just now, it's some kind of slogan, Novorossiya, it's a desire to one maybe group of people in Ukraine and in Russia to create such kind of territory, Novorossiya, in our territory. But we had some name at the time of the Russian Empire. And it's only for historical evidence, historical data.
The name was
Imperial.
the name was given until when?
Before that?
This name has now gone.
No, it's now really, it's only our history. Just
since when it was?
It was before 1917. After that, our university was recreated, some institute of, at the time of the early years of Soviet power, it's an institute of education. And after that, from 1931, it come back to university, not institute, Odessa State University. From this time. But I will come back to Giordano Bruno. I'm not far from Giordano Bruno. From the beginning of our, establishment of our university, we have really university had a really European vector, not Novorossiya. And what is this? Odessa professors
Posso dire un attimo? L'immagine dovrebbe introdurre l'orientamento internazionale dell'università, che avevano già dall'inizio sempre avuto collegamenti con altri paesi europei, nonostante che all'inizio dell'università, fino alla rivoluzione russa, nel 1917, si chiamava Università Imperiale della Nuova Russia, e poi fu ridotto a un istituto tecnico durante il tempo sovietico, e da quando hanno since when it was university again?
Again, 1931.
Solo dal 31 è diventato di nuovo università.
41 o 31?
31.
This destruction of the system, 33. 31. Yeah. It's not only Odessian experience, it was universal project of destruction of university system, bourgeois, and create such named folk institute of education. But after that, Soviet power come back to university system. But what is Bruno? Our professor took part in the charitable fundraising initiative for the construction of a monument to Giordano Bruno. This was a response to a letter from the students' committee of the University of Rome, which had proposed to build a monument of Bruno in Campo del Fiore, the square where Giordano Bruno was burned. Really, many professors of Odessa proposed public lecture with donation, and money of this project was sent to this. The part of Odessian part in this monument you can observe now.
Allora, la storia del monumento di Giordano Bruno è che c'era un professore che aveva collaborazione con i colleghi italiani che tramite i loro studenti volevano ereggere un monumento, lo chiedevano di soldi dall'Odessa, e loro facevano delle lezioni pubbliche dove incassavano un po' di soldi e hanno donato per la costruzione di questo monumento. In which year?
In which year it was approximately 1875 to 1880, approximately.
1875 fino all'880.
After 15 years,
he was asking who was that, who organized this.
This students' committee of Rome University. They sent letter to many universities and at the same time Odessa University to collect money for the building of this monument. And
I think the curiosity is about the cultural link with the students.
yes, but
Quindi l'iniziativa viene dagli studenti romani,
yeah.
anche i clericali.
Anche?
Anche i clericali. Chiaramente.
Really,
So the initiative came from the Roman students.
yes.
But I understood you before that it was the orientation, the international orientation
Yes,
of
yes.
your professors who had some connection with
Yes.
Italy.
They were open to students' initiative, not only professors.
Anche clerical students.
But I know this story from point of view of Odessa intellectual history, the history of great philosopher Nikolai Grot. He worked 10 years in Odessa University. After that, Nikolai Grot, it will be interesting for philosophers, especially for specialists in logic, philosophy of mind, etc. Nikolai Grot became the founder of Philosophical Society in Russian Empire. He founded the journal Philosophy and Psychology. He's an enormous person. He started his career in Odessa. And in the series of book, Nina Kravchenko, Professor Nina Kravchenko knows about this initiative. We have a special book series, some scholars or school of scientists in Odessa University. It's a special series. In one of the book where I was involved, I wrote some part of this book devoted to Nikolai Grot. And we collected this information from newspaper of Odessa this period. But I don't know exactly what are the Italian story, detailed story of this invitation. We can collaborate about and find this story finally, and what is this? And what really this international communication from the beginning I can, but can I continue or not?
Yeah.
Yes. I can talk about many directions, German, French, and so on, but I would like to tell only about Italian direction. You know, many, yes, we have a time. Many Odessian professors visited to Italy for study in this period. Let's stop. It's a history. I would like to jump into our days, but I would like to take attention this period because we have to reconstruct this international communication just now. And you know, Ugo Paletti, cultural ambassador of Italy in Odessa, and some Italians foundation, for example, Mediterranean Oriental Foundation has agreement with our university official for communication in the cultural and scientific event, and we will reconstruct this story and to open new page of this. And from this page, I would like to to tell something about our international communication just now. Really, I suppose you will agree with this, because maybe at the beginning of this war, international office of our university was reconstructed. It's something amazing activity today at the time of the war. Before that, previous office heads of this office slept. This war and their activity led to enormous new period of this communication.
Forse qualche traduzione, ho riassunto. Odessa ha tradizionalmente avuto connessioni molto forti con altri paesi, anche l'università di Odessa, e cioè con vari paesi, però so anche che la comunità italiana in Odessa era molto forte e questo però è un po' andato indietro, questo sviluppo, e solo questo è stato risvegliato in particolare durante la guerra, cioè avevano sempre un ufficio anche internazionale all'università che organizzava gli scontri con altre università, però dall'inizio della guerra è cambiato tutto lì, che hanno ripreso le iniziative e hanno per esempio anche un ambasciatore, diciamo, della cultura italiana a Odessa, che aveva creato proprio una rivista dal punto di vista italiano, anche ucraino, a Odessa, Ugo Poletti, e lui è attivo lì.
Maybe you can read this information from rector report. It's not only official information, it's a reality, because we are here, you are here. It's a result in our living experience. Our students have a chance to visit from this program.
E questo è molto importante, quello che segue, che c'è questo scambio molto forte internazionale in generale, cioè qui ha elencato il numero degli scambi Erasmus che hanno creato nel frattempo, e ho visto che l'ufficio lì è molto efficiente, quello dell'Università di Odessa nell'ambito dell'Erasmus e scambi internazionali in generale.
And we will continue this activity.
Sono allora i paesi che c'erano, cioè l'Italia lo scambio, no, cioè questo sono i paesi con i quali hanno scambi Erasmus, eccetera.
I repeat, it's not only official information, it's our real life. And yeah, you can.
Cioè?
Banca d'Inghilterra.
Inghilterra non c'era? England was.
England.
Non può essere, scusa. Dall'Erasmus Exchange non c'è l'Inghilterra.
No, non fanno parte.
No, è anymore, è part of Europe.
European Union.
Neanche la Serbia è Europa. La Serbia non è Europa. La Turchia non è Europa.
Do you ask about Great Britain?
Sì.
The UK quit the Erasmus
Yes.
program, then now
Because
they are trying to join again the program.
But really, I don't know. I didn't know before that you have an interest to that. I personally now would like to cooperate with the Professor King's College London in Great Britain and to establish special agreement with the Great Britain universities. We are going to, and I suppose it will be successful, but it's difficult. I am not in the office of this international department. I can only to add some detail. Go ahead. Walk around the university, old and new building of our university. It's from the beginning of our university. It's a building for humanitarian faculty before. It was built in the Soviet Union, but reconstructed today. It's our location. Our university is not such a university such as, for example, Princeton. It's a center of a city. It's we have two basic locations of our university, and some faculties, such as us faculties, so far from this central building. And
Like in Siena.
It's our some classical building, classical students, classes, auditory with special, and what else? Shelter in university spaces. Really, it's not only Odessa National University. It's a picture from a second university where I involved. It's Odessa State Building Engineering and Architecture Academy. It's do you see brilliant image? And what is this? It's information about shelter. what is the place where you can find a key, who is responsible number. It's combined in our life. It's our life became such diverse in this. What a shelter, you see, and it's basement usually became the shelter, and it's my students who study philosophy in this academy. They are really enjoyed by the living conversation after period of online education. We started to study again after online period. They enjoy to meet each other and some.
Forse qualche spiegazione, cioè prima che vedevamo quella a destra era una pianta per arrivare ai rifugi per i bombardamenti eccetera, e questo l'immagine di prima era la gioia dei studenti quando potevano più di nuovo venire dopo la pandemia.
We can tell more detail about this. At the time of the class, for example, alarm, and we have to finish our class and go to the shelter. And it have to be close to university, usually in the basement of our university. And recently, 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, we had election of our rector, and this election was held in shelter because it's impossible to organize safe space for election. Shelter became some cultural place and something else, and you visited in our theater, for example, Opera House, the best in the world. We have such type of shelter that became colorful, brilliant, new, performative space for us. Our life can be continued in shelter.
Qualcosa sui rifugi, cioè quando c'è la lampada di allarme devono subito finire le lezioni e andare nel rifugio. Stessa cosa l'altra settimana, avevano l'elezione del nuovo rettore, quello doveva essere fatto in un rifugio perché non c'era verso di fare diversamente, e poi c'era anche qualcosa sul teatro di Odessa, che era bellissimo, l'opera di Odessa, anche loro hanno un rifugio, insomma tutto pieno di rifugi che devono essere sempre abbastanza vicini alle varie pubbliche istruzioni e anche alle case private.
And you can see this destruction after missile attack. It's a photo from the site of our university. Really, it's a reality of our life. But maybe, I don't know exactly, Odessa is not so suffered from fundamental destruction, university, how we can, It's, don't talk about, such as Kharkov, for example, and other city there where university building were destructed fully. It's maybe, I don't know, angels in the sky for us, but we have such kind of destruction.
Allora, rispetto ad altre università, l'università Odessa è stato colpito, diciamo, solo in modo modestamente, insomma. Invece altri edifici ovviamente sono completamente distrutti, finora hanno avuto fortuna, altre università sono più o meno distrutte, anzitutto quelle più vicine al fronte.
Pray for us, please, in this case. And just now, I would like, before that, maybe university in the public sphere, but after that I would like to give a chance to tell something to my colleague, to Alexander, but this part, maybe all of this presentation without critical, maybe as you wish. It's a university in the public sphere. Really, it's a special activity. There are many directions of the public activity of university in the Odessa and Ukraine, and really, Christoph Lumer was involved in these lectures and initiative. But I would like to stress especially my favorite example, and it's an explanation for you and special invitation for Professor Nina Kravchenko and her faculty, because it's an initiative of Odessa City of Literature UNESCO. The cooperation with Odessa City of Literature UNESCO is very active, especially from our side, Faculty of History and Philosophy, and my personal side, because I am a member of council of this office. And as maybe you don't know, January 2023, the historic center of Odessa was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage. Yes, Odessa, and after that there were created some kind of special offices, events, and one of these, the most influential, Odessa City of Literature UNESCO. And it's a partner, stakeholder of our philosophical program. And one brief example, within my academic course, Social and Cultural Analytic and Humanitarian Expertise, students analyzed application of European city, how to enter and to become the member of City of Literature UNESCO. And special permission we achieved from Lund and Lyon, because it's a secret information, it's not open, this grant application, and our students analyze it and prepare. We would like to be very useful and collaborate with the Odessa City of Literature and another international interesting project in our city.
Allora, questa è un'iniziativa in particolare. Dal 2023 il centro storico di Odessa è heritage, humanitarian heritage. Patrimonio, sì, ecco, patrimonio non mi veniva la parola, patrimonio culturale del mondo, insomma, dell'umanità da parte dell'UNESCO, e entro le tante iniziative che hanno creato lì c'è anche questo progetto dove in particolare la nostra collega che è involta, l'Odessa City of Literature, e questo doveva essere anche una cosa che prepara alla parte un po' critica e analitica che dovrebbe venire, cioè insomma, lascio qui.
Yeah, and I would like to invite Alexander and Nina Kravchenko for the remarks.
Dear listeners and participants, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Golubovic and Professor Luma for giving me such an opportunity. It is a great honor to speak on such an important topic. I need to start my presentation, yes.
On escape, and then you
yes.
can, okay, yes, you've got it. Okay.
So, yes. First of all, I'd say that I was, let's say, so lucky to begin my student's life right between the end of the COVID-19 pandemic and the outbreak of Russia's invasion in Ukraine. And also, it should be said that I've studied at two different universities in Odessa, which gives me a specific point of view on how both of them cope with studying process in the wartime. So first, I graduated from Odessa National Polytechnical University. Yes. And last year I entered Odessa National Mechnikov University. So now I'll try to compare how they deal with this situation. Odessa National Polytechnical University was hit 3 times since the war began, and due to this situation, all of our studying process was held only online. And honestly, we've never had something what can be called proper student life. Yes. Of course, sometimes we came there to do some paperwork or something like this. But in fact, our classmates and our professors existed for us only as pictures on the screens of our laptops. In fact, picture in our Mechnikov University is quite different. Yes. First of all, we have constant personal communication with our classmates and our professors. We've got plenty of cultural, sports and social events. Yes. And also the quality of the lectures and the energy of our practical classes, where we actually get a chance to show what we can do, is just great, and it's hard to explain how it feels after 4 years of sitting at home. Our classes happen in a mixed form of studying, because some students left Ukraine after the beginning of the war, and so that we can connect to the lectures via Zoom or some other platforms for online education. And of course, sometimes when the attacks become really frequent and so on, our university turns into online regime just to not risk lives of professors and students. Of course, sometimes air raid alerts happen during the offline studying process, so we have to go to the shelter and continue our lectures inside of them. And also, it has to be said about our professors. To be honest, I don't know how and where they find the strength to keep going after sleepless nights with air raid attacks. But somehow they manage to do it, and in the morning they come to the university cheerful and warm and ready to continue our working process. In fact, we have a saying in Ukraine which perfectly fits the situation. If it wouldn't be misfortune, there wouldn't be happiness if misfortune hadn't helped. And because of the war, we've gained some really important qualities, such as the ability to appreciate what life gives you right now, resilience, readiness to support each other, and empathy.
I'm overflowing. Faccio qualche riassunto di quello che ha detto Alexander. Lui aveva anche la possibilità di paragonare due università dell'Odessa, perché lui era iscritto come la prima volta dopo la pandemia, cioè prima della guerra, e poi durante la guerra ha cambiato dal Politecnico, dove era prima, all'Università di Mechnikov, dove anche i due colleghi stanno. Diceva che il livello e anche il tipo di confronto è molto diverso. Al Politecnico c'era anzitutto insegnamento online, e questo anche a causa dei colpi, il Politecnico è stato colpito 3 volte, e le foto che avete visto erano da questi lì, e dopo però insomma in questo modo potevano continuare l'insegnamento, e dopo però alla Mechnikov era molto diversa, c'era il confronto con i compagni di classe e anche la presenza dei professori, però anche questo è peggiorato da quando gli attacchi sono stati molto più soventi verso Odessa, e questo io direi all'incirca 2 anni che si hanno molto aggravati. Però insomma si cerca di continuare nonostante di tutto l'insegnamento, nonostante tutti questi allarmi aerei durante le lezioni, durante le notti, insomma, e lui ammira anche, diceva, ai professori quando dopo una notte senza sonno arrivano all'università e insegnano di nuovo, insomma è una resistenza molto forte che hanno.
One huge motivation for us is the chance to compete for student mobility programs. It really pushes us to study hard, to get involved in university life, and to keep improving our language skills. And then we get such a chance to step into a student's life at another European university and to gain new knowledge, make new friends, visit new countries, and learn their history and culture. I'm incredibly happy that I was lucky enough to win a mobility grant to this wonderful university. For that, I'm deeply grateful to the University of Siena leadership, to the International Mobility Office, and to Mr. Luna. Yes, so thank you for this amazing opportunity, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your report. Thank you very much. It was really helpful and I think also very illustrative for us. Allora, lui era anche, diciamo, ha espresso un po' anche l'importanza di questo scambio, di andare fuori dall'Odessa, di vedere le realtà internazionali, quello che ha potuto approfittare ora tramite questo scambio per il quale, ecco. Bene, allora andiamo avanti.
I would like to invite Nina Kravchenko and some remarks because it's something opposite situation with our faculties. For example, my specialty that I am chair of department and I am a mother of all philosophers in the university and young philosophers. It's a small, number of students, approximately 8-10 in each course, philosophers, but I would like to present enormous faculty, one of the biggest in our university, please.
Thank you very much, thank you very much. I'm very happy just to greet here everybody who gathered here in on such an occasion. And personally, I would like to thank Professor Lumer and Professor Golubovic who let me just say a few words about the topic which is discussed here. Really, it is quite an urgent topic, and we value your attitude towards the situation which happens in Ukraine, but we are Odessites, yes, and maybe I prepared just a few words to say about the situation in Ukraine, but I think that the mood that appeared here, this vibe, as it is fashionable word, yes, prompt us that we should maybe remember our great poet Iosif Brodsky, who once told that if you were fated to be born in the empire, it's better to live in a small, remote province, yes, by the sea. So we are not province, of course, we are not very quiet and small. I mean, Odessa, more than that, Odessians usually say that maybe Odessa is not the first city in the world, but it is, of course, not the second. Here's the essence of our self-esteem, self-irony, I think, and sense of humor, of course, yes? So we endure. We will cope with all the problems, I'm absolutely sure, with the support of such friends as you are. And what I must say that nowadays, maybe our faculty has some profit from the situation that happened now in Ukraine, because we understood that knowledge of languages, that international collaboration is it's a must for our salvation, so to say, yes, and that is why our faculty really has not 10, but about 1,000 students overall, yes, and of course we have a huge staff, professional staff. And just not to occupy much of your time, may I express my sincere hope that in very close, in the nearest future, our partners, professors and students particularly from Italy, will not only welcome us and our students and our teaching staff, but also visit Ukraine and in particular Odessa, and you will feel the warmth and hospitality of our city. Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
And really, I would like to maybe summarize the number of students and differences between faculties. What are the most popular specialty? It's a special term, concurrentные. We have official term for this, concurrentность promotion. Special, yes, a special official title. But what is the most popular specialties now? Psychologists, the highest level of interest of a new generation of Ukrainian, lawyer, and languages. And I am working in the building academy. This year was the highest level of the interest to this specialty because many of Ukrainian young people desire to reconstruct this city. I know one actress of our theater. She entered in the building academy because she told, who will rebuild Ukraine? We are.
Yeah.
And maybe I prepared some critical part, but just now I don't want to talk about it. Maybe is it possible to stop here in this optimistic
Spirit.
spirit? Because
Chiedo, allora forse di nuovo un piccolo riassunto di quello che ha detto Nina Kravchenko, cioè lei è la preside della facoltà di linguistica e questa tutt'altra dimensione del Dipartimento di Filosofia, sono più di 1000 studenti, e ringrazia molto del spirito di solidarietà dagli altri paesi d'Europa, in particolare anche da voi. E lei ha detto anche che quello che, cioè, in questo senso approfitta anche la sua facoltà della situazione che tanti dei studenti cercano ora anche la cooperazione internazionale e sono interessati alle lingue, e questa è una cosa molto importante per l'Ucraina in generale, di avere poi dopo tutti questi legami con gli altri paesi d'Europa. Bene, forse questo è necessario. Ora, professoressa Golubovic chiedeva come procediamo. Ora abbiamo già le 5:45, doveva essere la fine della lezione senza che abbiamo cominciato anche con la discussione, le domande, invece, e lei aveva preparato anche una parte di analisi e anche di critica. Io perciò ho ogni tanto sottolineato alcune cose della sua conferenza che riguardavano le istituzioni, l'internazionalizzazione, eccetera. Questo ha a che fare un po' con uno dei due temi che voleva trattare in questa seconda parte, cioè il problema della cosiddetta decolonizzazione dell'Ucraina. E questo è un programma un po', si potrebbe dire, nazionalista, si deve dire, lei lo vede abbastanza critico, cioè anzitutto diciamo il divieto di ciascuna cultura russa in Ucraina. Questo è un movimento molto forte, anche sostenuto in parte dal governo, e questo è un po' fuori di quello che ha detto ovviamente la professoressa Golubovic. Volevo solo dire che un po' su che cosa lei ha preparato, perciò ora c'è la domanda come andare avanti, se fare prima delle domande, siamo già abbastanza tardi, forse è meglio di rinunciare a questa parte, però insomma se ci sono degli interessati potrebbe, o se la grande maggioranza è interessata a questo, potremmo anche continuare con questo, lei potrebbe continuare con questo, si fa le domande dopo. Cioè questa è una domanda aperta, io direi Non lo so come il vostro interesse per questo tema in particolare. Come la stanchezza quotidiana?
Parlo per me, ma credo che se ci aggiunge, abbiamo poche, io almeno non ho domande su questo che è stato detto finora.
Non hai?
No,
No.
Direi che è qualcosa che ci, come dire, mi sembra interessante il discorso non so.
Come con gli altri, cioè particolari domande da parte vostra, insomma, che si dovrebbe...
Io volevo fare, I wanted to ask you two questions. One, I heard that the students, when they reach the 25 years old, they can be enrolled in the army, right?
Yes.
And I heard from Ukrainian people that there are students that decide to continue their studies at the university to avoid to
Military
be
service.
enrolled in the army. I don't know if you have the feeling that this phenomenon exists or not.
This phenomenon
And this is the first question. The second question is, do you have some kind of relationship with a Russian university in some way? Maybe the answer is no, but
Interesting
Two questions.
question. Yes, of course, we have to answer this together. Really, you are right. But, for example, students or graduates who enter in the master program or excuse me.
La fa? Va bene, la mettiamo qui.
Mettiamo un po' più vicino.
In graduate or postgraduate, they are free. They can continue their education after 25. It's possible for them if they are students and master students and graduate
so
and
they
graduate.
cannot be enrolled if they continue the study, right?
Yeah, you are right. We have some kind of students, but before that, our government changed the rules because first years of war, there were many old age men who could enter to university, especially graduate. I was the member of this commission. I look around this, so how to Boroda, the old, they really had in the mind that this education will save them from army. But after 1 year, our government proposed new rules, more strict and more some related to real situation. Just now it's impossible. Especially only you can enter to graduate or master when it's a budget fund. Yeah, как сказать на бюджет? Budget fund. If you enter to budget fund, you are free from this danger to go to the army. If you have some contract, how to translate contract education, you have to pay money. You are not free from this. You have to be
If you have brain, real knowledge, then you can be free from the army because you enter as a budget student, as a student who passed successfully all exams, and then you can be a postgraduate student after 25.
Second question is very. Is it okay? It's really it's a long story. We can discuss it more in detail, but generally in such manner. What about a relationship with the Russian universities? Really, from the beginning of the full-scale war, all collaboration, official collaboration, were demolished. Yes. And in our, for example, it was strange for us. Our war started first period from the 2014, but all of this period, all official agreements with Russian university were in act. only from the full-scale war. It was demolished in our eyes. For example, our rector, special in our Great Council, told us what happened, why the member of Russian university is in editorial brought in our academic journals. What's this? Remove them. Really, all official relationships are distracted. But I tell it here and in my country, I have a very good relationship with my Russian colleagues who are against this war. They emigrated and they created new academic activities abroad. And I didn't broke my relationship because sometimes they are more heroic than we are, because they are
because they are against the system.
Si può tradurre un po'.
Sì. Allora, c'erano due domande, una riguardava gli studenti e poi
le domande lo capite bene.
sì, e la risposta era sì, è così, cioè che gli studenti possono essere iscritti e poi così diciamo fuggire dal servizio militare, però c'erano all'inizio anzitutto anche delle persone che erano un po' anziani per essere studenti e che si sono iscritti solo per questo motivo, e poi questi sono però dopo stati cacciati fuori con le nuove regole che valevano, cioè perciò ancora è in atto questa regola. Seconda domanda riguardava le relazioni con le russe, e allora lì dopo c'erano accordi ovviamente, perché come sapete una bella fetta della popolazione ucraina è di madrelingua russa, all'incirca un quarto della popolazione, e loro avevano accordi con la Russia, cioè anche una collaborazione da sempre in un certo senso, perché l'Ucraina faceva parte dell'URSS e non c'era neanche prima una divisione. Allora avevano questi accordi e quelli andavano avanti anche dopo l'inizio della guerra nel 2014, l'invasione della Crimea. Però dopo il 22, dopo la piena guerra, sono stati tolti dal governo ucraino e c'è proprio un divieto ora, c'è che anche da parte del rettore, per esempio, ci sono, nelle riviste ci sono persone della Russia, nell'editorial board di una rivista, allora devono essere cancellati. E questo non è solo una questione dove sono, ma anche del linguaggio, mi pare, questo è un altro punto, cioè è anche una esclusione non solo delle persone o istituzioni in Russia, ma anche della lingua russa stessa.
About the decolonization, I think that it would be better to discuss this topic because this has to do with the fundamental cause of the war.
Yeah.
It is.
Perhaps she can, so that I think would be a proposal to continue with her talk to speak about that here.
Because the decolonization is part of a bigger problem. It is what is for the future. First, for the future, the relationship between the Ukrainian part and the Russian part of Ukraine. First of all. Second problem, okay, you are accustomed, you have said to us today that you are obliged to survive in wartime. And that's why war became a sort of normality. But war is no normality,
Yes.
of course. And this is a question not really for a professor of philosophy, but for you as a Ukrainian citizen. But don't you think that the Ukrainian government must try to find out a solution? Maybe a compromise? Do you think, for example, that the Crimea can be rescued? Or do you must accept that Crimea is Russian, for example?
Okay.
Yeah.
Questa forse ci porta una discussione troppo lontana.
This is part of the organization.
No, io direi forse iniziamo
My
così.
point of view, the people are better than territory, my personal. The people is the better value than territory for me.
It's better for?
Better for Ukraine than territory for me. Because we have to save our population. We save to our citizens. Do you see what is the rate of depopulation in Ukraine?
Yeah, good.
I don't know. I don't find simple solution of this question. I told about my personal values of this. The people and are better, are more important.
But for instance, Odessa is part of Ukraine. Kiev is part of Ukraine. But do you think the situation is just the same in Odessa and in Kiev? Because I have the impression that the population of Odessa is more nearer to Russia than Kiev, or not?
Maybe, yes, but we have sometimes, but if you know, we don't have any sociological investigation, we can't talk it exactly, but really,
Maybe simply historically, Odessa is multicultural city, and that is why everybody is closer to us, yes? Whether it is Russian, Greek, Italian, or whatever he is, yes? And that is why it is maybe we are more ready for the compromise than, yes, because we understand the value of life. If it is compared with territories, it is clear that we should go to a compromise. But unfortunately, not all of us share this very thought.
Questione come andiamo avanti, cioè ci sono emerse domande che sono vicine a quello che voleva raccontare lo stesso il professoressa Golubovic. Sarebbe allora una possibilità che lei continui con la sua relazione, quella parte, o continuiamo con la discussione aperta? So, I said we have two possibilities here. One would be to that you continue your talk in speaking about your analytical, critical part, in particular what regards to decolonization, or you continue the discussion. And those who, let's say, expressed their opinion opted for your continuing the talk. Yes.
Any questions for this part? Maybe we'll continue. And yes, I try to show some paradoxes of decolonization. Really, just now I came from Berlin. I visited Einstein Forum, public forum, and with the public talk about paradoxes of decolonization in Ukraine. And I am and my colleagues freely, in open manner, democratic manner, as I suppose, we discussed these paradoxes and controversial in Berlin, Potsdam, but sometimes it's not in Ukraine. My presentation, I will, because I would like to, yes, for maybe summarizing of this talk, I would like to show you some quotation. Next. Really, it's very dramatic questions. We don't have any final solution. It's controversial, but before that. What about decolonization? I would like to present this one of the some discussion about decolonization and present our beautiful colleague Olga Gamilka. Why I mentioned her? Because she was the one of the first organizers of international communication between European philosophers, humanitarians and Ukrainian. And her wrong colony Russian influences on higher education in Ukraine. Do you see idea and practices and discussion about colonization often opened with the support of some European foundation and something else, for example, Heinrich Böll Foundation in Ukraine. These institutes open discussion about some style of this problem. You can read it, you can follow for the publication of Heinrich Böll Institute in Kiev. It's at some point of her presentation, more official, more something optimistic concerning to colonization. Do you see? Colonization of higher education, authentic meaning of Ukrainian culture within a framework of European values. I agree with each of these values. A value of freedom and something again opposite to the Ruski Mir paradigm. It's this discourse of decolonization. We can talk we can propose many theoretical background of this, but just now I don't want to continue this theoretical point. This is one of the maybe optimistic concerning to decolonization, especially in higher education. No, maybe.
Forse faccio un breve riassunto.
Questo è perfetto.
Sì.
Yeah, I can read it, maybe, yes? This maybe because...
So, okay, that's okay, there's no need. The picture before was on this Heinrich Böll Foundation, because, questa è una fondazione in Germania che ha aperto questa discussione sulla decolonizzazione, perché è un problema ormai in Ucraina e l'hanno discusso preferibilmente fuori, allora vicino Berlino, e questo era quello che ha fatto vedere dopo lo slide che segue a questo, cioè parlava del programma della decolonizzazione come era all'inizio e che può anche sottoscrivere lei, però insomma quello che è diventato dopo è un'altra cosa.
Quel documento da chi è stato scritto?
Come?
Quel documento
questo era
da una fondazione tedesca?
No, quello che dopo, questo è il programma ufficiale dell'Ucraina, insomma.
It's supported by international foundation, theoretical
The
grants.
question was what you showed afterwards, the next slide.
Next
that was
slide, yes.
That was not from the Böll Foundation, that was official national program
yes.
of the government of
Governmental, but
this one. That is. Perhaps you could read it.
no, at the same time, the colonization of Ukrainian
È un
education.
problema di metodo, qui c'è un problema di metodo, no? Di metodo più che di contenuto.
No, che come poi è diventato, questo è il punto. Cioè, gli scopi sono buoni, insomma, diceva anche lei, però come si è sviluppato, e questa è una radicalizzazione di questo programma che è da vedere in modo molto critico, questo è il punto. Questo è l'inizio.
First of all, the purpose of this legitimation of modern European values. Modern European values and the decolonization of Ukrainian education articulates a value-based and conceptual strategy of thinking aligned with the European intellectual tradition as opposed to the Ruski Mir paradigm. Really.
Questa è politica ufficiale, e così è il programma.
But just now, I come to talk about all of aspects of decolonization. I stress only in the higher education and some, no, you can see. And for example, before that I mentioned this sociological study that was funded by the European program within the framework of UE for Culture. It's a study of the cultural needs of Odessa residents and the perception of Odessa myth. Really, it was what does it mean? What kind of direction of decolonization? For example, in Odessa, it started from the destruction of the traditional Odessa myth. Odessa myth is the description of Odessa as a Russian city, as a city with a special tradition and culture. If you know, we have a great writer, Isaac Babel. He described Odessa as a multinational city with the dominance of Jewish part of. It's a very funny stories on simple level, not in the fundamental. It's a myth about some semi-criminalized city, a myth about our humor and openness to other influence, as Nina Kravchenko said, multicultural city, but some crime elements, some how to tell more exactly, myth of Isaac Babel, Odessa myth, something multinational. But just now this program started to deconstruct these myths and told it was artificially constructed myths. It was real story is far from these myths because it's a story of oppression of the Ukrainian and other ethnic group. It's right, it's maybe right, but what...
who says that?
Yes.
Who
says first?
No, that's an invented myth.
Invented myth previous or not?
No, who says that it is only an invented myth?
Many of official cultural activists, public activists who are involved in official activity in decolonization. In Odessa, it started from the destruction of our Odessa myth. Do you see? It's a special investigation about what now Odessian people think about, what was the illusion, fantastic bias about myths.
But it makes a difference if this is an official program of the state, or if these are some cultural writers who say that. So that was the question, mainly. Yeah? Is this official?
It's followed for official style of the thinking about it. It's more official. It supports the official point of view, how to deal with the decolonization. It's very strange for me that, for example, the most, it's a paradoxes of this, the most influential critics of decolonization before that were the most influential supporter of this myth. For example, historian Alexander Babbage, for example, who created industry of the tourist production of the Odessa myths. After that, they stopped and just on the contrary criticized that.
Perhaps make a short summary. Allora, la questione era questa, cioè qui il mito di Odessa. Odessa è una città di porto e è uno dei, penso, il più grande porto dell'Ucraina e è sempre stata una città internazionale con tante nazioni dentro Odessa. Lì la maggior parte parlava russo e c'erano ebrei, c'erano grandi colonie di varie nazioni che vivono lì e questo era, diciamo, sempre questo è il mito di Odessa, cioè di essere attraente anche per altre nazioni, per proprio questa miscela di culture. E ora stanno facendo, cioè sotto il programma della cosiddetta decolonizzazione, della quale abbiamo visto prima il programma, di convertire questa cosa in una anche distruzione di questo mito, che dicendo che questo mito è stato tutto inventato, che non è stato vero, insomma era una questione di turismo, qualcosa. E ci sono particolarmente anche autori che hanno prima sostenuto proprio il mito stesso, cosiddetto mito, e che ora dicono il contrario, che era tutto sbagliato. E questo, cioè, se ho capito...
Sì. Ma ci sono delle minoranze linguistiche in Odessa?
No, minoranza linguistica, cioè linguistic minority in
Odessa is a
Odessa.
multinational city, and what is the question?
Nell'uso quotidiano, cioè ci sono parti della popolazione che nell'uso quotidiano parlano una lingua diversa dall'ucraino?
La maggior parte delle persone di Odessa parla ucraino, parla russo. Cioè, how many people in Odessa?
Tanti gruppi, ad esempio, mongoli, bulgari,
Però i percentuali,
Italia.
Ma sono liberi di usare
cioè, ma i percentuali all'incirca quanti sono? Per esempio russo verso ucraini verso altre lingue.
Io non ho la statistica, ma ad esempio con me in conservatorio hanno studiato altre persone che vivono, tipo contadini, che venivano in città, ma a casa e anche in treno parlavano questa lingua. Libero, suo, ad esempio, bulgarian, romeni, tanti altri. In passato c'erano...
Cioè allora noi in Italia abbiamo l'Alto Adige, no? L'Alto Adige è una minoranza linguistica tedesca. Il problema sorge quando una minoranza si costituisce in maniera identitaria e chiede di essere riconosciuta come minoranza. Cioè i tedeschi dell'Alto Adige chiedono di poter usare la lingua loro e l'hanno ottenuto. Però ci vuole che una comunità si organizzi e dica che ad esempio alla radio ci devono essere delle trasmissioni radiofoniche nella loro lingua.
They're trying to compare the Italian situation of
C'è una differenza.
minorities
Cioè-
that have also
A quel punto si misura la democrazia di un governo, perché se un governo respinge queste richieste è un governo nazionale.
So if
No,
there
il
are
punto-
language systems,
il punto è-
minority language that are trying to avoid. Se posso fare un'osservazione, una cosa che mi ha colpito a me guardando un po' questi argomenti, loro scrivono Odessa con una S sola. Questo è un caso di traslitterazione dall'ucraino, il russo viene traslitterato con due S, quindi anche solo nel nome della città c'è proprio un fattore politico. Infatti in una slide prima c'era quella S fatta strana, no? Cioè, loro si stanno decolonizzando dal russo come lingua dominante, sono loro il gruppo.
Però a Odessa stessa
Allora, invece sarebbe opportuno che fosse possibile avere le due forme.
No, cioè, il problema qui, cioè, non è paragonabile dall'Alto Adige, Odessa, perché in Alto Adige prima c'erano solo quelli che parlavano tedesco e c'erano pochi italiani, poi sono venuti in mano con diciamo, l'italianizzazione. Insomma, in Odessa invece è sempre stato una miscela di tante lingue e c'era anche una maggioranza ucraina. Scusate, russa, di lingua russa, anzitutto prevalentemente di lingua russa.
Ma basta vedere dove, it's enough to see where Odessa is geographically is nearby Romania and all the East Europe.
Yeah, but don't identify fully problem of decolonization with the problem of language. It's a dangerous way. It's not led us to the understanding of this situation. Please don't identify decolonization with the dominance of one or other language. It's not only language, but history, style of thinking, worldview, and so on. If we will go to the only language nationalism, we will not go to the understanding of this situation, really. And I would like to show you this controversial story. What do you see? The term decolonization humiliates us. or decolonization versus de-Russification, decommunization, de-imperialization. And by example, maybe I will read, Ukrainian public historian, military serviceman, and the author of a YouTube channel with the audience of 500,000 people, Alexander Alfyorov, has a view. The term decolonization of Ukraine is harmful. It would be more appropriate to speak of de-imperialization if we acknowledge that we must remove layers of colonization from ourselves. This implies that the Russian Empire or previous state institution or Soviet Union were culturally and politically superior to Ukraine. His point of view that Ukrainian people are not some part of colony. Often Ukrainian activists, Ukrainian cultural life, Ukrainian political institution were more developed, more fundamental and more new, and they were invented to Russia. And when we told in the terms of colony and just on the contrary, colony and metropolis, it's not relevant to this situation. When we call about ourselves, we are colonized. We are not true because we forget about some achievement of Ukrainian, not Ukrainian as a state, but this territory, Ukrainian now land in the development of the Russian Empire. For example, Peter Great, he invited people, priests from Kiev, and create his empire. What is his example of Russian Empire for the building of education? Kiev, Могила, Academy, and some school, educational school on Ukrainian territory. Not Ukrainian in point of view of state, but cultural. Do you understand me?
Forse dico qualche parola. Allora, la questione qui da decolonizzazione, allora questo Alexander Alfyorov dice che è un nome che sta umiliando gli ucraini perché non era così che Ucraina era una colonia, anzi in tanti aspetti era anche superiore ai cosiddetti colonizzatori, e ha portato avanti alcuni esempi, cioè per esempio chi era?
Kiev Могила Academy in Kiev, one educational center. It's one of the first university in our territory.
E hanno insomma anche in altri aspetti, allora hanno importato spesso i russi specialisti dall'Ucraina.
Intellectual, cultural achievement, books, some maybe habits and many other were invented into Russia. But when we are talking decolonization, you know, this discourse of decolonization came from another cultural situation, For example, Gayatri Spivak, Indian and American philosophers, she is one of the great authority in this discourse. She keep in the mind Indian culture, and this style was repeated into Ukrainian situation, but it's not relevant. It was his first vision as a very good historian. Alexander Alfyorov, one of the best empirical historians in Ukraine. But when last year he became head of Ukrainian Institute of National Memory. Really, it's our official organ with the official policy in this part. Sometimes it's Ukrainian Institute of National Memory became as a type of censorship, cultural, language, and many others. It's an institute. The first example was in Poland. such kind of Institute of National Memory that became such as one of the organ of authority. And we repeated this experience, and now Ukrainian Institute of National Memory, it's a voice of official policy in humanitarian, language and cultural policy.
Allora, questo Alexander Alfiorov dopo è diventato il capo di questa organizzazione qui, the Ukrainian Institute of National Memory, allora dell'Istituto di Ucraina della memoria nazionale, e lì doveva seguire tutta un'altra politica e ha cambiato parecchio secondo anche l'esempio della Polonia, dove è stato un sviluppo abbastanza simile. E poi...
Yeah. And when he became the leader of this national official structure, his discourse was changed radically. In later stage, especially compared his speeches in several years ago and just now. He emphasized just now, those who obstruct decommunization, decolonization as a synonymous, and de-Russification are simply pushing their own children backward. This will inevitably create a certain cognitive dissonance in their mind. Do you see? Oh, I lost in the second, but in this post, I would like to, from denial to alleluia. Alexander Alfiorov, from the independent public and academic military historians and public intellectual to the head of Institute of National Memory, and he became the voice of official point of view. It's one example of this. As a scholar, as a public humanitarian or intellectual, you can criticize this point of view. When you became the official, your point of view is changed.
Allora, lui è diventato il capo di questa organizzazione e poi ha cambiato completamente indirizzo e difende la decolonizzazione che prima aveva criticato, dicendo se non si fa allora si va indietro con tutto lo sviluppo.
I would like to I will come back to what? For example, Ilya Mechnikov, do you see Mechnikov forever? Ilya Mechnikov, the Nobel Prize winner, 1908, Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine, the first Nobel Prize winner who was born in Ukrainian territory, Ilya Mechnikov, the symbol of our university. He worked in our university approximately 20 years. With different some breaks, and 20 years. Do you see, it's our slogan. Last year we had the anniversary of our university and at the same time anniversary of Ilya Mechnikov. Do you see this green? Ilya Mechnikov in Odessa University, image, worldview, some heritage. And his face, and this our slogan. And when I was the one of the author of this book, because Ilya Mechnikov was at the same time the very good philosopher, natural philosopher, and I proposed the brief sketch about his philosophical ideas. And with my co-author, historian, librarian, we afraid resolution of the Institute of National Institute, Memory, because this institute proposed some official list of heroes of Ukrainian history. One of them have to be removed. They are imperial. Go out. Second, don't glorify. Do you understand? Don't glorify, but put it into public, public space. And third point, this Institute of National Memory have to approve the list of new heroes. And we wrote this book, we didn't present it, we are waiting the resolution. Where will be Mechnikov? First, second, or third line. It's our happiness that he is in the third place. But do you see? It's not, it doesn't mean that we are who are involved with this story, who understand that the history is very difficult, very complex. He was the citizen of this empire. But at the same time, Mechnikov criticized the Russian Empire for this style without freedom, without any choice, because we choose European life. As you know, maybe, he came to Paris and became the disciple of Louis Pasteur. One example of these paradoxes, because we are waiting. What is the resolution have to be from official, not from the scholars? And excuse me, but it's my
Questo è un esempio un po' particolare che riguarda proprio questo Mechnikov, secondo lui, secondo il quale è nominato un'università. Cioè loro hanno fatto uno studio e ora devono aspettarsi l'approvazione se lui è ancora un eroe dell'Ucraina o meno. Insomma, è ora una commissione.
Vogliono togliere il nome, vogliono cambiare il nome.
No, questo non è ancora chiaro, loro aspettano ancora la decisione in quale categoria è inserito, sarà inserito, o prima, secondo, cioè eroe o proprio anche nemico al fin fine, non si sa mai, insomma, questo ormai è la realtà, che c'è una commissione nazionale che decide su queste cose, insomma, e perciò c'è anche il rischio, non so, finora non c'è il giudizio finale su Mechnikov.
It's our hallelujah, because after come back to Odessa again, we will have a presentation of this book, and we will invite French cultural center, maybe ambassador of France, maybe not only for good cultural event, but for our safety, because international support of this figure will have a good impact on some radical voices of nationalists.
Ok, allora loro cercano di avere anche il sostegno di altri paesi. Lui era molto importante anche in Francia, era discepolo di Pasteur, era un professore di fisiologia e ha preso il premio Nobel per fisiologia. Allora cercano il sostegno di altri paesi europei perché loro hanno più peso nelle decisioni del governo ucraino, però ora ormai è già necessario fare questi avanzi. Ho richiesta di sostegno a altri paesi europei per non cadere in disgrazia.
And interesting example, linguistic. Maybe I am happy that linguist is here, but maybe you can give me advice how we can analyze these paradoxes of decolonization: new words, new grammar, new canons, and new taboos. Prescriptive shift in language use. For example, from the beginning of the Great War, we received special instruction from Ministry of Education how we can write some dangerous word. Russia, deliberate refusal of capitalization, of capital letter. Russian, only. Putin, only.
Allora, queste parole, cioè, sì, per queste parole, sì.
No, ma questo è ridicolo.
Ma è così.
Really, sometimes it's prohibited. I can't, for example, publish my article. Sometimes when I will use Russia, Putin, and so on with capital letter. It's not stylistic variation, but a symbolic act. Rejection of linguistic norm as a part of broader discourse of decolonization. This signal for formation of new grammar within the discourse of colonization. I'm not sure, I'm not professional linguist, maybe it's possible, maybe not, but I suppose it's a barbarian style of...
I would like to know if there is, which force is on compulsion compulsory of these rules. There is a law that obliges you as authors to use small...
Ministry of Education and something...
Yeah,
it's
but
very
no,
strange.
my question was that because from an European perspective, nobody can oblige you to force you to use a capital letter instead of don't use. And I'm curious about the consequences or the legal consequences for a misuse of these rules, because this can be a very delicate question when Ukraine would like to join the European Union, because this seems something like there were Soviet times.
Happy to listen your voices, because sometimes I come to find some scholars who agree with me officially. You know, it's very strange situation. You come to find something rejection or prohibition in something totalitarian impacts it in the space of us. For example, instructive letter. If you want to find what is the prohibition, you come to find nothing, only instruction from Ministry of Education. And
there
it's
are not clear consequences
yes.
of...
But do you know some kind of censorship as a self-censorship? Sometimes it's a desire to our authorities to say, for example, Odessa University, because there are many, some claims, you are Russian, you are semi-Russian, but we became more self-censored than others, because, I understand sometimes. But I don't talk about legalization of, how to take it, Russian
obscene
vocabulary from the beginning. Maybe it's at the beginning of the war, in the situation of psychological or emotional some stress, maybe it's normal, but on the big boat, it was Russian, русский корабль, иди нахуй.
Something like that.
Русский корабль, иди нахуй. What does it mean? It's very, very, very bad. Maybe it's a normal way for the such kind of situation. I don't know. I'm not a linguist, but if I listen point of view of a great humanitarian philologist Andrei Sadomora, he is great philologist, he's translator of all ancient Greek texts today. He translated Plato, Aristotle, and recently he discussed this situation. He said, maybe at the beginning of the war it's something, but if you will establish it as a legal norm, it's terrible. It's a point of view of one of the famous translator, linguist, and specialists in classic language who proposed now new translation of Greek, Latin, and other texts.
C'era la questione di quale livello di ufficializzazione hanno questi, spinte nella direzione nazionalista, decolonizzazionista, e lei dice è raro di trovare veramente ordine a livello giuridico. In genere è un movimento, poi ci sono le figure anche importanti in qualche istituzione che vogliono tutelare l'istituzione, come il rettore di una scuola, di un'università, dicendo dovete essere attenti, lasciatelo e così via, cioè che fanno una pressione meno ufficiale, cioè in qualche circolare, ma non a un livello veramente giuridico, non c'è come si direbbe, una norma o un decreto, per esempio. Non c'è un decreto elettorale, non dovete farlo. C'è una lettera più o meno pubblica, forse solo su Facebook, non so, non lo fate, insomma, in questo modo.
Even at this level, there's a clear contradiction. For one hand, the colonization wants to to affirm values such as democracy, liberty. On the other hand, there's a clear program of censure.
And self-censorship. Because the most dangerous thing that we will not be free inside.
But this is a certain effect also in Italy too, for example. For example, some people...
Però c'è una piccola differenza con la Russia, che se te in Ucraina c'è una certa libertà, mi pare, no? Nel senso che non è cioè in Russia se te trasgredisci la legge o la norma e l'autorità ti mettono in galera. Chiaro?
Sì, noi non siamo ovviamente a questi livelli.
Siamo un po' così, no? In Russia se te vai contro il rettore o il capo partito o chi per lui ti mettono in carcere.
Sì, una dittatura. In Italy there's a certain tendency to think that if you are against Putin, for example, and you are almost all of us are against Putin, but this does not mean that you can cancel Dostoevsky.
I don't talk about this. It's our headache.
For example, there was a protest some years ago against the Scala di Milano because the opera Boris Godunov were programmed. The ambassador of Ukraine protested. This is absurd.
And we talk about its sensibilities. It's sensibilities who are suffering from Russian way. But after these sensibilities, it have to be some critical thinking, intellectual responsibility, and something else. It's a tendency that I met at the during of the symposium analytical philosophy. Then, beside remove rationality and put in the center sensibility. They're sensible, they're traumatized. Don't touch, don't tell. But it's not very good idea.
Which part of this situation is because the war going on, and which part will remain as part of the feelings of the people against Russia? Because in Poland, for example, there is a strong sentiment against Russia, but there is no war going on. So I imagine now that all these situations are over the level of a normal relation with a culture.
Yeah, but
like with Russia.
once again, don't identify Russia and with such kind of policy. Maybe it's helpful for the Russia. Sometimes Putin uses these arguments in his policy.
I imagine. Yeah. No, but I think, in your sensibility, as again, after the war, these feelings will be returned in a common sense level, or the hate will be is very root.
We will discuss it maybe at the end of this month. Odessa will invite many guests from Cambridge, Oxford, and many politicians and activists to discuss Ukraine after war. What are the perspectives? We don't know answer, we know only questions now. Please, but don't identify all of this, and my discourse is not pro-Russian.
No. I mean, I understand. My impression was if the level of stress of the war.
Ukrainian than somebody talk about, because we would like to live in the democratic, open, and not barbarian country who forget about every norms and every conditions. And look forward, if you have a time and attention, it's a quotation without my remarks. It's prohibited. It's a condition for publication in scholarly and educational text, especially. educational for the students. It's prohibited to cite within the text or include in bibliographic list any sources published in Russia, in any country, as well as sources in other language if they publish it on the territory of Russia, Belarus or Iran, and created by those who support Russian military aggression against Ukraine. It's an official instruction for us, but how to understand who support aggression, who not, and just now it's prohibited to cite. Do you see? To cite. You can tell prohibited to glorify, but here to cite. What differences? In any text included this literature. It's prohibited to cite literature, for example, Russia of the after Soviet Union. Especially, it's strange for me. It's, for example, translation. For example, there were published many books in Russia under the grant support European Union, some Soros foundations, translation into Russia, great philosophical or political texts that were prohibited before in Russia, in Soviet Union. But just now, it's prohibited to use these sources in our papers.
I'm sorry for you, because I think it's
And,
going to hurt you.
And for example, paradoxes may be lost. Except last by red line. Avenir Yomov is one of the great philosophers of Ukraine. He is lived in Odessa, and he is founder of one of the theory of system, well known in the world. And in our faculty we have a special conference dedicated to him, and we have to have special permission to cite his books in Ukraine published, but on Russian language. It's prohibited for us now to cite our books that was published in Ukraine, but before that in Russian language. We have to remove it from any text, especially for the students. What is the some solution of this problem? For example, for example, in this case, it's a memorial desk of Avenir Yomov, and it's a cultural where at the time of our refusal from our heritage, Russian politicians and Russian intellectuals such as Anatoly Wasserman, Odessian people, but he came to Russia and became one of the radical supporters of Putin. And for example, Avenir Yomov will refuse from this heritage. Anatoly Wasserman, he told, we will collect all of paper, Avenir Ivan, and publish in Moscow.
If they publish, it's not longer usable in your publication.
Exactly.
But it's dangerous, because he told, you refuse from your heritage, please, it will be our Moscow, and we will publish it. It's really such, because I'm in touch with some relatives of Avenir Yomov.
Ma questo è uno che si oppone all'indipendenza dell'Ucraina, no? Ma scusa, uno che si oppone all'indipendenza dell'Ucraina, perché dovrebbe essere pubblicato in Ucraina? Sarebbe come se un fascista, un nazista, sarebbe come se un nazista in Germania pubblicasse i testi dei nazisti.
Però non è solo questo è il punto. Cioè,
come scusa? Questo è uno che si oppone all'indipendenza dell'Ucraina. Che fa? Lo pubblica.
Di recente il nostro collega di germanistica ha pubblicato una traduzione del Mein Kampf. Ovviamente non è a favore di Hitler, ma è giusto però che si conosca il testo, insomma.
Ma
Ma che
The
ragionamenti mai
discussion is
discorso da
about
guerra
Wasserman.
via.
He says, but he's against Ukrainian independence. So that would be because the Germans allow fascist texts to be translated into.
Allora guarda, se ti dici è da fascisti ti racconto un episodio che ti dà ragione. Io il giorno dopo l'invasione glielo traduca per cortesia questo, glielo può tradurre. Il giorno dopo l'invasione dell'Ucraina sono andato in città, ho comprato la bandiera dell'Ucraina, l'ho esposta al balcone. Dopo un mese è venuto uno e mi ha detto lei è un fascista e me l'ha vandalizzata. Questo è il livello.
Fascista era lui.
Ho capito, ma questo è il livello dei nemici dell'Ucraina in Italia, capito? Figurati, me lo vuoi tradurre?
Menano la gente in piazza.
Come?
Menano la gente in piazza.
Se me lo traduce mi fa una cortesia.
Yeah, I said that there's people who are going against these developments.
We are not living in fascist country really. I love my country. As my colleague Nina Kravchenko, we are for the development of Ukrainian language, Ukrainian translation, and flourishing of Ukrainian culture. And we have to remove all of these not drawback, but it's can't to transform into something dangerous. We have to stop here. And what is our legitimation of our personal work? We have to translate it in Ukrainian just now, but sometimes it's difficult because what is the translation? It's a long and very responsible matter. And we created some interfaculty program for Odessa University. There are such neutral topic, application of intellectual history methods in the humanities, contextual approach to textual analysis. What is the program? How to translate fragment of works of influential humanitarian, for example, of previous time before revolution, and for their legitimation in the humanitarian space of Ukraine. Maybe it's a good way, I don't know, but if it's closely connected with the prohibition of the citation, I don't know any answer to these questions. I propose you a situation paradoxal.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention. Thank you for discussion in this very some sensible.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much to you. This was a very, very, very long and well elaborated talk, and we got acquainted a lot more with the situation.